Okay, so welcome to What the FAQ is the portal. Lovely Keri here is going to ask me questions and I'm going to answer them. I founded the portal a few years ago now, and what we will be going through is the first bootstrapped and community funded build of what the vision is. It's very much at the start of what we're building. We have a big vision of where we want to be headed, but hopefully today will really show you that it does everything that you will want to do for your business. And anything that is missing is hopefully coming down the line when we get more creators with us. Um, yeah, I think that's enough of an intro from me. Keri, did you want to give yourself one and take over the questions?
Okay, all right then. Hi everyone, I'm Kerry. I am the portal's number one fan. I don't know, Lisa maybe want to fight me for it, but I'm going to make my certificate anyway. I've been running a kind of like a membership composting on the portal for just over 2 years, and I host a conversation series on here as well called Spiral. And I've done workshops on here and free things on here and resources on here and all things. So I'm at home here and would love for like more people to feel at home here. And yeah, I'm here to support Sally with that in mind today.
Thank you very much.
So
Should we?
dive
No,
in.
yeah, let's go.
Let's
Okay.
go. All right. Sally Burns. You have 30
Oh,
seconds.
no, don't do that.
What's the difference? What is the difference between the community and the portal tool? When we talk about the portal, what the FAQ are
What
we
the
talking
FAQ?
about?
Okay, so let's go, pals. So as I just said, so I'm going to do my screen share over to here. As I just said, we bootstrapped and community funded what you are currently seeing on your screen right now, which is the portal tool and platform. And this is the dashboard where you land, where you can see everybody's offers that they currently have available. So this is essentially a kind of marketplace ecosystem where someone might come to find Amelia's work and then they see Keri's work. So it's kind of very much a rubbing up of the edges and a way to kind of discover other people's work whilst you're there. When you land in, I'll just quickly say, you've got resources and you've got collections and you've got live sessions. And so all of our creators will create and post them to here. Um, Harriet and Caroline, I don't believe you have come into the community. So I'll explain what this is as if, completely new to it. So obviously, so this cost us, as it stands, around £70,000. And a big piece of what we're doing and what the vision is about community. And to create a community platform is a huge amount of money and work. So at the moment, we have fully integrated it with the Circle platform. Circle being $1 billion platform. So how that works is when you create an account on the portal, you'll then have access to come into the portal community. And so I'll just show you how that actually looks. Can you? Yeah, you can see this, right?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, pals. I've just realized I'm in the wrong browser because that's going to take me to the wrong. Hang on. Roll up this one. Don't look at my calendar.
We can't see your calendar. So
Oh,
if for people while Sally's sorting that, so if you are a creator, you can be in two modes in the tool. You can be in your creator mode where you would be building your things, and you can be in experiencer mode because obviously we are, even if we are creators, we are also experiencers in the space.
yes. Yeah. So, sorry. Let's start that again. Oh my God, guys. Sorry. Hang on. I've got to log in again here. So,
Oh,
can you see this one?
yeah.
You're not on Google.
No, we see the portal.
Okay, good. Okay. So when you create an account on the portal, you have access to community spaces. These are all ones that are free not the Meadow. The Meadow is something that I'm part of a private collection. So anyone that then comes in has access to the big kind of free community space, and that goes through to Circle. Has that opened up Circle, everybody?
Yeah.
So this is like, I would kind of describe it as Facebook, uh, but nice in that you have this kind of main feed and you don't have ads and you have these kind of all these different things going on the left-hand side in the kind of Facebook groups way. You can be a part of this as much as you want or not be a part of it. It's kind of up to you. There are people that just come into their private spaces and don't interact in the main space, and there are other people that are involved all the way through. So I will just walk you through that. Down here, this your spaces, people do not see all of these. This is just because I am an admin. So you, if you become a creator, you get a private community space to that you're a moderator of that you can run as you please. So your space will just be under here and anything else that you might be a part of if you are, because we do have a lot of cross-pollination in that way in the portal. But say, as an example, composting is the community space for Keri's membership composting. Keri is the moderator of that space. And again, I'll just quickly scroll because this is a private space, but that's just run like a kind of Facebook group and you can start threads. You have your members, you very much kind of have control over like notifications that are sent out. And then obviously you have access to kind of direct messaging to your members within there. And then they're able to kind of talk with each other and share images and just kind of really get in there and chat away. Is there anything you want to say about that particular space, Keri? Or like how
I
you...
just love that it is like Facebook before the enshittification. Like it is like when it used to just be good. It just used to be like, I will see all the things that people who I am connected to have shared in the order that they happen, and I
Yeah,
will not be being like bombarded in between that with like ads or like stuff that's supposed to set my nervous system on edge. Like, yeah, it's just like not to be too like nostalgic, but ultimately, yeah, like the good
yeah,
old days.
yeah, definitely. Um, okay, and then so as I say, you kind of have these extra spaces up here. Anyone that comes in kind of gets put into these automatic spaces here. We've got this kind of introduce yourself. And the way that it works with the portal is experiences like we're all in it together. So, it's not very much kind of you come in and you're talked to by the kind of moderator of your offer. It's like you can come in and kind of start your own conversations and be a part of all of this as well. So very much kind of encourage people to introduce themselves, and that kind of just starts off this really lovely like collaboration opportunities, relational marketing. There's a lot of people who are meeting in here and then running offers together or running workshops together or having live conversations together, like your work works well with mine or your work doesn't work well with mine. Let's have a conversation about it and record it and put it up for everyone to enjoy. Um, so the share what's on your mind is kind of the main big space where everyone is saying stuff. We have portal gatherings, which is kind of what we're on today, like things to kind of help you better understand the portal. I do weekly build with me and office hours where I'll build out something on the portal if you want to kind of drop in and watch that and ask questions. And then office hours are for any questions about anything you're building as a creator that you need help on. Free events is for anyone to share, so you don't have to be a creator. If it's an event that is for the benefit of the wider community, you can come in here, use your Zoom, and share an event yourself, set it up here, and you've got the audience kind of ready to roll there. Saying that, very much would spend time getting to know people in the community before kind of coming straight in to share a free event. But it is a really great way to introduce people to you, to your work, and for you to also be able to kind of understand how is it landing, and is that kind of appetite for this topic that I kind of want to share. So we have Rage Room, A Space to Pause, the retelling of The Witch, which looks incredibly interesting. Um, politicized grief tending with Holly Truler. So lots of different types of events going on there, are free to attend. And just to say about that as well, so things like the Slowing Down Collective, an open kind of community that's run by Leanne, is your members to your offer have kind of that support of this wider community space. So as well as kind of getting everything that they need from your work, from your offer, they also have kind of these extra support going on in different places in the community as well. Permaculture, Book Nook, and like other lovely things that are happening. We also have, I will stop talking in a minute, Creators Canteen, which when you become a creator, it's just kind of lots of different resources for you to be able to kind of get started quite easily. Creator hangout spaces where people kind of share their, any things that they're thinking of sharing to get feedback. Again, collaboration opportunities, or kind of just general kind of business questions and feedback. The water cooler is an instant chat space where you can ask me if you're stuck on anything. And then there's a few other bits in there. But the question was, what is the difference between the two? And so I cannot stress enough that this is integrated with this one over here, which is the bootstrapped and community funded tool and platform, which is integrated with the $1 billion platform Circle. So although we can do lots of things that I'll run through with you, it's not quite a swish as Circle, although Circle has broken a few times, and I do lol about that. Keri, do you think I've missed anything as I go through that?
I don't think you've missed anything. I would love to just squeeze a couple of things in, if that's all right. So really just wanting to shine a light on that distinction that where you were showing us there's those groups that are free for everyone to join, and then there are groups that are connected to people's paid offerings. So wanting people to understand that like if they come in as a creator, they could choose to have like I have for composting as like a paid group, in association with the sessions that happen, or it might be that you don't want to do it that way and that you want to have a free space that acts as a different way of building relationships with people. And then you would just have a paid offering that was more about like calls or the materials that can be made with the tools as well. And just recognizing that if you're new to it, it might not be totally clear straight away that there are those kind of two different things. But I really love that additional value for people who come to work with me of being like, come to this platform, come and join me for composting, or come because I'm doing this one-off session or whatever. And then when you get here, I can like hand on heart be like, there are amazing people here doing amazing things, paid and for free. I really love that, like the Slowing Down Collective, the Permaculture Group, the Book Nook, the Beyond Big Tech one that's just kind of getting going. It genuinely feels like such added value to me as a creator because I feel like I'm sharing the holding of people with other creators, and that just feels really nourishing for me as well.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. I can't think what your next question is.
Oh,
Sorry, what?
well, the next question on my list is, can I use the portal instead of Substack?
Okay. So I think I will, as I go through that, I will explain a bit more on that kind of community space that you get and how you might potentially use that. So shall I dive in and answer that one? Does that feel relevant for people? Yeah. So, okay. So the portal here, as we've said, you can create resources, collections, and live sessions. And resources are singular pages of content that are made up with blocks, different blocks of different multimedia elements. So you may well know something like Squarespace, where you're building blocks of content out. That's kind of what our builder is, that I will show you in a minute. And so you can kind of put as many blocks as you want into a page. And then once you have what we call a resource, you can then have as many resources as you want within a collection. And so a collection you could use as kind of a one-off payment to share a course, or you could have someone subscribe to that content monthly, and that's a membership, or it could be kind of a year-long group study program. And so you can have unlimited collections and resources, of which kind of that breakdown I'll go into in a moment. But so essentially you could have a membership running, you can have a group study program, you can have several courses, all available kind of from your profile, and live sessions. So I will just walk through how you would potentially do that on Substack. So as I say, this is one I made earlier. So I've got all of this stuff within creator mode here in the portal, because obviously I'm just constantly creating stuff for things like this. But this is like your dashboard where you begin your creation. And this is one that I made earlier. And this is a singular resource where I've filled in kind of all of these details. And I've put that nice picture there, which is what pulls through to the dashboard. So I'll just bring that up as well so you can see that. So back here, this is what pulls through to these squares so that people can kind of see the image and see the title, see what it's about, and also see who has shared it. So you can send people straight to your profile here that shows the different kind of offers that you've got set up here, or you can send them straight into, Amelia hasn't got any collections, you can send them straight into this offer. So this URL up here could be used, on your Instagram stories or on your website to send people straight to this offer to sign up. Or you could simply send them to the portal to kind of have a little dig around here. So back to talking about the tool. It's very much like a kind of Notion Squarespace block builder, as I've already said. So you have this tool and you build out the blocks that you've got here, which are things like quite standard text pieces and bulleted lists, titles, and then you've also got some more fun things that makes it a bit more creative, like a coloured background text, flip cards, which I'll show you in a bit, tabs, content block, accordion, and then also you have your multimedia video and audio blocks, and you're able to host your videos in the portal. So there's no need to host them on Vimeo or keep them on your Zoom storage. You can download them off there, put them into a resource, and your storage is included in your monthly subscription.
May I interject?
Yes, please do.
I am about to save a fortune because I realized I can downgrade my Zoom subscription because I've not kind of like mentally caught up to the practices that I ought to be carrying out in my business. And really driven more initially by a desire to think about the environmental impact of like my storage, but then coming to this place of like, hang on a minute, I can delete all of this stuff. I think it works out. I save about £30 a month on my massive Zoom subscription by not needing to keep them there and being able to just have them here in one place. So that feels like important information. I know not everyone is like giving their life to Zoom in the way that I am, maybe doesn't have the same kind of like opportunity for saving. But it is something to bear in mind if you are someone who does a lot of calls.
Yes, absolutely. And so also to say, this tool is where it's kind of more similar to something like Patreon and Substack, which is why I'm talking through this, as opposed to like Teachable and Podia, and that you've got these kind of different elements and ways to break out content. So what kind of maybe used to go into an hour's video now can be broken up into text introduction, some images, an audio note, and some different ways of breaking it out. This is a really simple one. I'll show you something else in a minute. But yeah, so this is a handcrafted article in that it's not Substack in the way in that it will pull through the date automatically. I have typed May 2026. But this is something that we like to encourage at this first build that we have, is that it's kind of slow creation of creative content in this way. So yeah, you can kind of do something really basic like this, where you've just kind of got paragraphs of text and you've put in an audio version for people and you've kind of just broken it up into columns, etc. And that kind of shows like this for them. This all reduces and works on mobile fine. And then a more funky version would be, hang on, have I done a more funky version? Yeah, so this is just where I've kind of gone really crazy with those blocks. I've used like different font types and built it all with a bit more pizzazz. But yeah, you're welcome to build it in any way that you want. Um, and that's kind of just showing the different blocks. But then basically, because I've then created those as different resources, they're then showing as singular resources. And so back to kind of the Substack example, you could set up a collection, which I'll show you in a minute, and you have a monthly subscription for that. So the way in which we have um, payments is you can have a solidarity full and supporting tier. So you could have a solidarity, if we're going to do it kind of Substack style, I think people have like a free tier, and then there's like a £3 and a £10. And then each month you can drop in a new resource. And so people subscribe to that collection and you're able to access new resources that you've dropped in each month or each week or kind of however you want to do it. So back to kind of creating that collection, you would create that as I've kind of talked through. So that pulls through, hang on, where have I put it? That would pull through to here as a collection, and then they've got those resources in that collection available to read as you drop them in. So it's a way to kind of drip feed content as well. If you're doing like a group study program or a course that you want to kind of hold back content in. And within that collection, I'll come back to the community space. Within that collection, you can then see all the resources that you've already published, and you can simply just add it into your collection, save it, and publish it out. We send you a notification whenever someone signs up to your. Are you keeping an eye on the chat, Keri? Is there anything
I
you?
am, yeah, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay. Should I be interrupted?
I think carry on till like
Okay.
the collection, and then we'll
Okay.
come to what's here and there.
Right. Sorry. You're in control. You're in control. So what was I saying though? Yeah. So you just kind of add in resources to your collection over time, in that way. And then back to the community space. You can then add the community space as part of that if you wanted to. And so, as Keri said, if you do that, it creates that private space for you in Circle. And then anyone that signs up to, say, your membership or your course that you want that community space to be part of, they are added automatically into it. And then it appears as part of their spaces. So, say, like I've got the meadow here. Any questions on that?
So we've got some questions in the chat. Do you want to come off screen share so that we can all,
Yes.
get coherent again? So the main Caroline's asking is the main benefit of doing it here instead of on a Substack or Squarespace or elsewhere to share it primarily with the community here? If so, what's the profile of the type of people in the community do you know? So just before we get to Sally's response, Caroline, I wonder, would you be happy to share a little bit about what your work is so we can hold that in mind?
Um, I do leadership coaching and speaker coaching primarily, and the person who recommended this, um, I'm not sure really where it came from, and so I've come to the call. Do you know what? Your brand colours are really similar to the brand colours that I'm using to update my website, and that's what keeps it like I know it's really random, but I'm just like you're almost using exactly the same colours. So there's something and I really like the image. But I'm in Better Business Network on Circle, and I find Circle quite frustrating. I find Substack really frustrating. I'm updating on Squarespace, and my target audience isn't primarily female, and there's something that feels primarily female about this. So I'm not sure whether there's a match for what I currently do, but I'm just sort of working out where to place it in my head, because it could be something that's not like my core work, because of course like I'm also thinking of starting an Instagram that's just about walking, and like there's like a few things happening in my brain at the moment, and so that was kind of more kind of what's the positioning question from your perspective, because also like I am really hearing that um, what you've got now is growing. So kind of, I don't want to also, yeah, there's something also really appealing about like a new thing and like you as humans, and so yeah, like that was where that question came from. I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
Thanks so much. Go on, Sally.
Yeah, okay. So I think in comparison to where you kind of potentially where else you might want to share. So if it was to be Substack or to be Squarespace, there's a million different, facets of that. So the marketplace that we have here is one of the pieces. Obviously, that will grow as we grow, and you're very much kind of coming in and shaping that with us. And we've got like 2,500 experiences now. So we've got a lot of traffic. Within the community, we've got around 1,000 people within the community now. So you've got lots of people coming in and out, but you've also got that profile page where you can literally just use that as yours. So, that's a public facing page. You could share that as you want, and then people can come and sign up to your offer. So you don't kind of have to be involved in the ecosystem. It's also a platform for your business, but also the ecosystem really helps to, for that relational marketing and for you to kind of grow your audience there. I would say so. We're an all gender platform. We are growing that as well as we go. But yeah, I wouldn't say that we're kind of restrictive on what anyone can share or anything like that. Were you going to
Mm.
say something?
A few things, but I'm just gonna listen, because
Okay.
it's really interesting, and it's creating, I think, some I yeah, yeah, I'm gonna stop talking, but thank you.
Okay, all right, wonderful. The other thing is, so in terms of one of the like big inspirations for me building the portal, and there are a few, is that what was available for people to kind of share content in this way was just kind of having to do like hour record videos or like share a PDF, and it just didn't allow them to share their work in the way that they wanted to. So, sitting there and having to record hours of video, firstly for you is, well, for me is incredibly uncomfortable and time consuming and all the other things. And for the user as well, for the learner to sit and watch an hour video is actually it's passive, it's uncomfortable, and most people don't get through it. So there's kind of like this distrust being built within the kind of course creation world, as well as those creators were kind of not able to share their work in the way that they wanted to. So a lot of the way that people share on the portal is they might like share a free workshop. They then record that workshop. They then post it kind of in a freebie or a lead magnet that's then hosted on the portal, and they're able to send people to kind of sign up to that, grow their email list in that way, and then see kind of what kind of reaction people get to that, and then kind of build out courses depending upon kind of the response that they get and kind of ideas that they get from other people, as well as kind of those collaboration opportunities. So I will come on to kind of the big vision piece in a moment, but the kind of collaboration thing is kind of a big part in terms of if you were to do like a year-long study program, you could ask, guest coaches, or you could be asked as a guest coach on someone else's work. And that's kind of really what we're encouraging is, yeah, that kind of cross pollination of work going on as well. And you don't get that if you then share on your Squarespace, because you're kind of just sharing within your own world, and it's difficult to reach new people as well as build networks in that way. I hope that lands. Keri, was there anything you wanted to add?
I would love to just layer a couple of things in. I guess like when we think about the benefit of being here versus somewhere like Substack, I feel like of course there are ways in which there are like elements of friction, you know, like you said, like typing the date yourself. Like we've got so used to everything being so easy and so automated. And there are ways in which there is like a little bit of a reset of like, oh, it feels a little bit more analog. It feels a little like MySpace, you know, there's that feeling of like, oh, I'm crafting something. Which might take a little bit of adjustment, but there are so many benefits. And for me, there's this feeling of the radical hospitality of this place. I feel that you could pay somewhere to have all the other stuff that you get for free here. That's the collective like generosity, you know, so the conversations that are happening that are free to attend, the somatic sessions that are happening that are free to attend. Ruth helping me out with what's going on my bay tree the other day in the permaculture group. You know, like there's all these things happening where for us as individuals as well, whether we're creators or not, or like the people we're bringing with us, there's just this sense of like relational fabric being woven that feels to me not to be like a, was it MasterCard? Priceless. Is that the MasterCard thing? But you know, it does feel like it's difficult to capture that kind of value of being part of it. And as Caroline was mentioning, like being here with something new at the beginning and shaping something and taking a bit of a risk together, saying like this matters that we're doing something that is an alternative to tech oligarchy shenanigans. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Articulated so beautifully as ever.
We do have
Um,
another question in the chat, if that's
yes.
okay.
Yes.
Charlize was asking, is it okay for creators to cross-post from Substack to collections on the portal?
Yeah, definitely. As in hyperlinking a post within your resource or on the Circle community. Both are fine.
I was thinking
Just
like publishing my essays from Substack on on the portal in
yeah,
the
yeah,
collection
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
portal.
yeah,
Sorry, my
definitely.
daughter's
So
coming
you
in.
right. So you wouldn't be able to, you'd have to kind of build it out. Do you mean build it out again on the portal or like hyperlink it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kind of in between and not sure where I want to be yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why that's a problem at all. I think that could work really well. We'd love to have
okay,
that.
cool.
Yeah. Okay. Um, is there anything else? MySpace is definitely where I want to go back to, but maybe I'm just stuck in the past.
Mm.
Um,
So,
so
can I just mention?
yes.
I just wanted to say so I'm going to use Keri as an example. So I was signed up. I've been signed up to Keri's email uh, newsletter for ages, and when she transferred to the portal, um, nothing changed really. Because one of the things I was always thinking about being a creator was, well, how will it look to my membership or to, people who follow me or whatever. Um, so the only thing that really changed was that she mentions the portal and links. And of course, that got me curious about the portal. And that's why I ended up joining as an experiencer. But if people are concerned about your own front end, it looking different, there was no change to the content. I wouldn't really have known that you'd done it apart from you leaving Instagram and all of that. But yeah, it looks exactly the same in the outside world.
Yeah, like there's no disruption at all. Like it's
But yeah,
just, yeah, lovely. Thank you, Ruth.
Ruth.
Anything else here, Sally, or am I moving on?
I can't remember what I've said.
You were talking about, we were talking about Portal instead of Substack, and you were looking at like adding resources into a collection. I just wanted to pick up on a couple of times you've mentioned you could have like a membership, you could have a course, you could have, like these workshops, whatever.
Yeah.
I just really want to highlight like limitless content creation for £45 a month plus VAT, like limitless. Just wanted to put that out there in case that's unclear to people that there's one fee for whatever it is that people want to be offering.
Yes, absolutely. The only thing restriction at the moment is the one community space. But we do look to grow that, and it won't be much added onto a monthly subscription if people wanted to get more. But yeah, so at the moment, if you kind of think, okay, I want to start a membership and I want the community space to be part of that, yeah, you can make that call, or you can just park your community space until you need it. But yeah, we've got people who are sharing evergreen self-study courses. Jo Miller has just launched one, and that has a community space as part of it. Like, it doesn't have to be a membership. So she has where anyone can join that course at any time. As I say, it's an evergreen, it just sits there. People look at the content in their own time, but then they also come into the community and kind of say what's coming up for them. And she just kind of hops in once a week just to check how people are doing.
And I also think there are like workarounds as well. You know, if people do want like a little bit more interaction spaces now, like because I've got composting, when I recently ran like a short pop-up study group for a few weeks, we just had a group chat in the messaging part circle as like a way to just keep in touch there as well. So it's still like bringing
Yeah.
people to the community, but we were just talking in that way instead. So there are lots of ways to be creative, I think, in terms of staying connected with one another.
Yeah, and actually, you've brought up a great point there about potentially how you might want to use within kind of if you were to use it like a Substack piece. Again, these are kind of workarounds, but they're kind of things that do the job, and I think work, just as well. So Keri will, with her spirals. So Spirals is a collection of live conversations that Keri does. It's kind of almost podcast style, but she's got an audience that come in and ask questions and get involved. So it's kind of a lot more organic. And then Keri will put the recording in a resource and build around that resource in a really lovely way, which I will share an example. So the one with Siobhan. So this is something that Keri's built out after their conversation, a
We
good
can't see
introduction. Oh. Oh.
Sorry.
So this is something that Keri has built out after their conversation, and then it's kind of got a good introduction to kind of what the conversation was about. It's got the recording, it's got the audio there if you kind of want to listen on a walk, and not use lots of data. But also, Keri then links to, this isn't a good example, Keri, because you haven't done it for
Sorry.
this one.
Sorry,
Sometimes
Sally.
Keri will start a thread in the community and then you can link it in here. Just let's carry on the conversation, and then it will open up the thread in Circle and you can carry on talking there. So it's just a
You're
really great way.
absolutely right. Sorry
Pardon?
about that. Sorry about that. I've really let myself and everyone else down. Sorry, everyone.
Usually, and then so if we go back to, I'm not sharing my whole thing, am I? Hang on. If we go back to, how do I? Oh no, I am. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really need to get over the whole Zoom thing. This would be what you call a thread. And then so you can, if you open that thread up, you can grab the URL, you can put it in your resource, and you can carry on conversations and link people to it in that easy way. Yes, so that is that. Shall I move on?
Shall we just check in? Is there anything? I've got a couple of other questions on my list, but I'm just wondering if it's worth checking in if there's anything alive in the room based on what we've already talked about. I can't see everyone, sorry. If you're like waving or anything, I can't see you.
I can't see any waivers. Hang on.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Anna. Okay. Oh, is there a chat? Is there a chat? Is there a
No,
chat?
we're good. We're good. Shall I move on to my next question then?
Yes.
So, I mean, you already started to kind of touch on it. Like, my next question was, how does it compare to Teachable or Skool? And you already started to talk about how it's a bit more kind of like Patreon or Substack-esque. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about there?
Yeah, so we get a lot of people asking about the Skool comparison. I think is probably the most, that people who potentially want to use the portal have been looking at Skool. Teachable very much it's a course first platform. It's very much for those who are sharing and scaling lots of video based content with big cohorts, with things like, we don't have the ability for affiliates. Um, so yeah, if you Teachable is very much kind of for big and scaling businesses who are doing video based courses, whereas as you've seen here, there's lots more you can do around video. So it's very much about kind of building out interactive pages of content. But Skool is a good comparison in the way that it has that marketplace. So Skool is very American in that, I know, sorry, that's hang on, in that it's very US based, which is fine, but it's if I share this here, so it's kind of got that marketplace. It's huge, and it's very much kind of based upon it uses like gamification elements. So it's like getting people to, the more they comment on things, the more they like things, the more they go up the leaderboard. So you would come and you'd create your community here, and people can discover you and then join it, much like you would much like you would on Facebook. And then it's quite sort of tech bro, I suppose, in its kind of way that it talks. And then it's got some very basic course creation, again, sharing of videos, sharing of PDFs. So it hasn't, I think it does kind of do like texty bits. And then, so yeah, it's kind of the same in that you are alongside other people, and people might discover you from being there looking at other people's stuff. You are able to send people directly to your community, or again, they might discover you in this way. It's got a lot of AI built into it, and yeah, you've kind of got these different filters. Money ones is the big one. Yeah, have I answered that? I feel like I did a bad job on that one.
Yeah, we're just having some lols in the chat about I feel like I'm coming out in a rash looking at this this range of content. Yeah, I just and to touch on that point about gamification, I nearly mentioned that earlier, like the lack of gamification being really deliberate on the portal, that we don't want to be just another place where people develop or are kind of coerced into developing habits that don't feel good for them. Like we don't want there to be that kind of sense of hierarchy. We want it to just be like we come together as we please and we step away as we please. And there's no need to earn like the right to kind of come and be in the space or to be respected in the space.
Yeah. So one of our kind of big things is that we won't take VC funding, which is why potentially, we're on a slower growth path. But one of those things is like I've been asked before, but how will you get people to stay on the platform? And it's like, well, we don't necessarily want people to stay on the platform. They're able to go off and like tend to their garden. So there isn't those things that keep people, prodding their nervous system so that they come back. Hopefully, your work is as engaging enough as it needs to be without making people need to get coins because they've clicked enough likes or whatnot. So yeah, that's that comparison, I think.
If you want to come off screen share a second, Sally, Harriet's just asking, saying, all sounds amazing. One question, how does it interact with an existing email list in terms of like telling your people there's a new resource, or do they also sign up to the portal to access it? I've just turned my camera off as eating massive salad, lol. Hope
Okay.
the salad is delish.
Yes, yummy. So yes, people have to sign up to the portal. So if they were going to come in and be a part of your collection, in order to access that collection, they have to sign up to create an account on the portal. They will be added to our email list, and then they'll be added that you'll be sent a notification. You are then able to email them about this offer. So if, for example, if you are sharing something like Life's Poetry, the conversations, you can email them saying thank you for signing up to the conversations. You can email them a follow-up email about things that are coming up within this offer. And then you can kind of have a how did it go type email. You would then need to get them to to confirm they're happy to be added to your main mailing list. So you can email them GDPR, you can email them about this offer. They've agreed to that in the terms and conditions when they've signed up to the portal. And then you might want to get them to then opt in to your main mailing list. Have I explained that properly, Keri?
Yeah, and I
And
feel like
then,
there are a lot of ways to support this as well. So, like the experiences that we've earned since October. So if someone signs up to something of mine, what I will typically do now is when they're getting emails about that thing from me, I will have within that email, like, while I'm here, click here if you would like to make sure you also get my Sunday email. Or at the bottom, I might have like other things of mine you might be interested in. But also, what I've started to do recently is when I'm creating any free resources like those spirals recordings or my membership composting resource thing is free every month for people to look at. I've started to put at the bottom of those resources, like, if you would like to get my Sunday note, like, please click here. So just giving people as many opportunities as possible to make that transfer from I'm just signing up about this one thing to I'm kind of joining a main list. But in terms of an existing list, I'm emailing my existing list of people. I email once a week on a Sunday. I send out a midweek business themed email sometimes, much less consistently. And I'm just always linking things in a template that I have set up. So I don't have to think about that each time it goes out. It's just there. It's a little bit seasonal. I might make some updates to how I'm directing people to the portal. I'll have my own stuff, and then sometimes I'll include other people's stuff on the portal as well. It's like another good way to kind of get that integration happening as well. Like, make it so that, oh, it's not just come and find more of me over there, but it's like, let me introduce you to this other person and their brilliant work. I wonder if we've answered your question sufficiently, Harriet. Oh, yeah, you said great. Okay, that was 2 minutes ago. I didn't need to keep talking.
I think you gave some great examples. Thank you. Moving on.
Okay,
I can't remember what I set this as, by the way. Did I set it as an hour and a half or a, yeah, okay. Okay.
don't worry, guys. If you need to go, we won't be offended. Right, the next question broadly, why can't it XYZ yet?
I mean, I think we've covered this, but yes, so this is the first build. It can do lots of things. Do check, if there's anything that's really in your mind at the moment that you're like, does it do this though? Because this is essential to my business. Do say, because I suspect either we can or we are, it's kind of in the roadmaps and we've got a workaround for it at the moment, or there's things that kind of the ways that we deal with it. But to say that, what can't it do? Hang on. Oh, we can't at the moment. Sorry. We have full integration with Stripe Connect, which means that you can, when you become a creator, you connect your Stripe business account to the portal. Any money that you make comes straight into your Stripe account minus the Stripe fees. But also Stripe Connect deals with any tax. So because we are a global platform and we've got buyers and sellers all over the world, it basically will be able to work out where your location is, where your buyer's location is. It deals with any tax that is applied or deducted, and then you get the rest of the money. So there's no need to be concerned about, I've just sold to someone in Germany. What does that mean? Or vice versa. Does that
I think a lot of people who are working online are maybe still not 100% aware of like digital VAT laws that have kind of changed quite a lot over, say, like the last 5 years. So I would like to be really clear as well that like this is not like a portal thing. It's not like come here and you have to start correctly paying VAT. It's like it's actually everyone should be doing it, and maybe not everyone is because the information doesn't exactly make itself easy to come across. So yeah, it's a huge weight off my mind to know that that is all just happening automatically, and I don't have to feel stressed about why it might be like 28% in one country or like 13% in another or none in another one. Like, yeah, thank you,
yeah.
Stripe Connect.
Yeah. And so we don't take any cut of anything that you sell. You get that money minus Stripe's fees on your side. But we don't at the moment, although it is, I think, I'm just going to send flowers to the developers tomorrow. We're hoping for coupons soon so that you can have a 100% coupon. What are other things that it doesn't do that are frustrating at times? Trying to think. I'm just
I
like,
know, I think
got
I've
used
just
to singing its
become
praises.
I think I'm just like very like I've settled in and I'm like, this is how it is, and I
Yeah.
get it, and I don't necessarily feel so.
Caroline, so sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what's 100% coupon? But you can read, like, yeah.
So it's so if you had people that you wanted to access your course for free, you'd give them a coupon so they can apply it and get free access. So at the moment, the workaround on that is if you've got a lot of people that you know will be coming into your course, um, actually ignore what I was just saying. Sorry, that's for a different scenario.
I think it's like it tends to apply when, so for example, like I run a small group coaching thing off the portal because it's just like group coaching. And then as part of that, people get 2/4 of my composting membership on the portal. So ideally, I would want to give them a 100% coupon code so they could just sign up through the platform and be able to access it. So at the minute, I just like manually work around getting them into the group space and getting them access to things. And it's been fine, but it would just be easier when we can just be like, oh, here's a 100% code to use for that.
Yeah. So just as an example, like that's a kind of a really good example of, very humbly we'll say that's where we are, that, paying the developers to implement that is a case of needing to get more creators. And so that's kind of the slow growth path that we are on, although we have sped up that recently. So yeah, it's kind of fun and exciting in that we've got this roadmap. We're all kind of shaping that together. If there are things that, the community are like, why can't it do this? This is a game changer. We do take that into account and do kind of put out community all hands where we get input from people about what it is that they want to see. And so you are really building and shaping it with us. And the fact that it's a woman-founded platform, community kind of owned, hopefully at some point, it's exciting to kind of be a part of that. Yes.
Can I leave social media if I
This is
start
your
sharing my
one.
work on the portal? Yes, you can. No, look, everyone is different. Everyone's circumstances are different. Everyone has a different relationship to like mailing lists, where you're at with that, other forms of marketing that you may or may not be engaged with. So I definitely don't want to pretend that it is the same for everyone to make a decision about social media. I think we all know there are many reasons to be overwhelmed by, repulsed by much of social media at the moment, and that lots of people are keen to be there less or even to be there not at all. See you, Charlie. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
So I came off of Instagram at the end of last year, and I haven't haven't missed it. I haven't looked back. And so, but like an example I can offer, and I hesitate to say this because I don't want to slip into that territory of like, let me tell you about how I get people to join my offers and like make it really weird. But like just as a like a share of something that is happening in my business right now. In my next coaching group, I have someone who I already knew, who we've deepened our relationship on the portal in the time that we've been here together. I have someone who I met on via the portal, who I invited to collaborate with me, who's decided to join my coaching group. I have someone who I met here on the portal who came to a number of my free sessions and then they signed up for my coaching group. And I have someone who I met as a fellow experiencer in someone else's paid offer on the portal who signed up for my coaching group. So it's really showing me that it is possible to take a more relational approach to marketing my work at the stage in my business where I am, with what I already had in place. So I want to be really like clear about what it is that I'm saying and not saying. But I think that I would also encourage people to consider for whatever time and energy you are and like well-being you are investing into social media platforms, are you genuinely seeing the payoff in your business? You might be. I definitely was not.
Thank you. Yes, it's a heavy one. And also, so I had a question on social media. I had a question on Instagram the other day that was like, it's unclear to me how coming to the portal means I can leave Meta. Surely we still need to use Meta to kind of market being on the portal. And I absolutely do not want to be like, leave Meta. You can totally run the entire business on the portal. It's all dependent upon you still have to work at it, basically, I guess is my point. Like the relational marketing that Keri does is very much a strategy but also an enjoyable one of, we really encourage people to attend other people's workshops, to comment on people's work, to start conversations in the community, not to come to the portal and think I can just arrive and it will sell, because it won't.
Mm.
People need to, it's that know, like, and trust that you would build on social media anyway. People need to know who you are. They want to understand you a little bit more before they then kind of dive in. And that's for free stuff as well. I think, you don't think because it's free, people will turn up. I think that people need to know who they're putting their Sunday evening over to and things like that. So yeah, there's a little bit of work, but also as we grow, I would hope that you can leave Meta. I don't, you have that network effect here, that cross-pollination, where as that Keri's just described, where people are meeting on other people's offers and then joining their offer from that. And that will only grow as we grow and more people bring themselves and their communities. No problem, Caroline.
Mm.
Okay.